My name is Tim Sandifer. I'm a senior staff attorney here at the Pacific Legal Foundation. Later this week I'll be arguing the case of Griswold versus City of Carlsbad, California. This is a case in which, amazingly enough, the city has forced my clients, Craig and Robin Griswold, to give up their constitutionally protected right to vote in exchange for a building permit. Now, this seems pretty extreme, but I'm sorry to say that it's rather common in cases that we've seen involving permit powers and the exploitation of those powers by local governments. What happened is, under California's Constitution, property owners have the right to vote on the assessment of their property for local improvements, things like street lights and sidewalks and things like that. But the city of Carlsbad doesn't want to wait and hold an election, so what it does is force property owners to pay these assessments up front, which is illegal. And if they can't afford it, as in the Griswolds case, it was $115,000 for a building permit, the property owner is forced to sign something called a neighborhood improvement agreement in which they promise to vote in favor of the assessment of their property at any future election, basically taking away their constitutionally protected right to vote in exchange for a building permit. Now, I'm sorry to say that this is rather common with local governments, the way that this building permit power is being abused. We've heard, there's a similar case going on right now in Santa Rosa, California. We've heard of similar incidents in Montana and elsewhere. Back in 1987, the Pacific Legal Foundation won a case called Nolan versus California Coastal Commission in the Supreme Court of the United States. And in the Nolan case, the court made it clear that the right to build on your property is not some sort of privilege that the government can sell to you in exchange for your own property rights or your own money. And local governments should not be able to abuse their permit powers by forcing property owners to give up these rights. Sadly, in the more than 2 decades since that decision came out, local governments have routinely ignored it and exploited property owners by using their permitting powers to twist property owners' arms and force them to give up their rights in exchange for permits. That's why here at the Foundation we have the Unconstitutional Exactions Project, which is devoted to preventing these kinds of abuses. Abuses that raise property costs, increase the scarcity of housing and business property for the wealth creators in this society, and enrich government at the expense of violating constitutional principles.